Let's begin in the west of the continent, where Nigeria's presidency has vehemently refuted allegations of budget padding for the 2024 fiscal year, dismissing claims made by Senator Abdul Ningi as unfounded. Ningi, representing the Northern Senators Forum, accused the executive led by President Bola Tinubu of implementing a budget that exceeded the approved amount by an additional 3 trillion naira. However, the presidency, through a statement issued by the president's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, countered Ningi's claims. The statement clarified that the Nigerian leader initially presented a budget of 27.5 trillion naira to the National Assembly on November 29, 2023. The presidency asked that the budget signed into law by the presidency on January 1, 2024, amounted to 28.7 trillion naira. And to unpack these, I'm joined live in the studio by a public affairs analyst, Dotun Ojon. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
All right. I'll kick off with your thoughts on budget allegations from Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi State.
Yes, I think the first thing is for us to be clear on the importance of budget. I call budget of any nation as the destiny direction of that nation. And you cannot continue to toil with budget and expect a glorious future for your citizens. And like I said, our destiny is not in a destination, it's in our daily decision. So if we want to take our future very seriously, anything that has to do with budget must actually be tackled with utmost sincerity and seriousness. Having said that, this is not the first time that we'll be having issues of budget padding here and there. But I think this is the first time that we'll be having the allegation going towards the side of the presidency. What we've always had is a member, maybe of House of Reps or a senator, accusing the leadership of the Senate to be padding budget for their own benefit. But for the first time, we are having a senator coming out to say, oh, this particular padding will not only benefit the legislature, that is to the benefit of the presidency. And this is extremely very strange. That is why beyond issuing a statement as to what will be done, I think the federal government must come and the executive must come out with utmost sincerity to explain what has happened. 3 trillion naira as we speak now, considering the current economic reality in Nigeria, is not something that we should toy with. And more so that this padding that is being discussed, the senator said it came under nothing. If that is anything to go by, it means that there was allocation of a particular amount of money for nothing. It means that 3 trillion naira entered the budget for nothing. So we must know as a citizen or as a country that our destiny direction is the budget that we are to execute, and any allegation about it must be taken with utmost seriously.
Talking about the executive, Mr. Ojon, the presidency has refuted these allegations, saying it simply exercised its appropriation powers by increasing it to 1.2 trillion naira. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. We should not take out the fact that the National Assembly has the power to actually increase budget, add to any of the figure, or actually remove from it. It's within the power of the National Assembly in a democratic setting. In fact, in Nigeria, what differentiates democracy from the military rule that we are used to is actually the National Assembly, is the legislature. So that underscores the power that they carry. But once you use this power to insert or remove, without adequately communicating the removal or the addition, then it becomes padding. In other words, if there's a secret insertion, it moves from a legal business of the National Assembly to illegal practice of same. So what makes padding is not the fact that the National Assembly adds anything to it, is the fact that when the National Assembly secretly, without coming out to say that this is the addition we have made, secretly insert anything, then it becomes a padding. And usually in Nigeria, I do tell people that one of the reasons why padding happens is because of the fact that if the National Assembly or the State House of Assembly does not include anything that can benefit them into the budget, they may run at loss. And this means that the money they use to campaign is usually too bogus in Nigeria. Our election process is too expensive. So if anybody wins election into the House of Reps or into the Senate and it doesn't have any other means to recoup this money, it may actually come back home with a loss. So I think this is why budget padding is so popular in our culture and our climate today in Nigeria.
But then with the hike in prices of goods and services, bearing in mind that the budget itself is just a projection, it's a mere projection and doesn't really, signifies the actual prices of things. Doesn't that then make an additional request tenable?
Of course, at every point in time, there's a provision for what they call supplementary budget. At every point in time when you make a budget, it is the finality of your decision does not lie in the budget. It lies in the reality of the economy where you are actually executing the budget. So when you make budgetary provision like this, it's an estimation. Remember that it's not just an estimation of what to buy, it's also an estimation of what to sell. For instance, in our own case, we put our projected price of oil to so amount of money per barrel. It may happen that tomorrow the price of crude may actually increase. It may also happen that the price may actually decrease. So the budget itself is a guide. The finality of the operation does not lie within inside of it. And at every point in time when you have these differentials, what you do is to raise what they call supplementary budget. And supplementary budget passes almost through the same process. You send it to the National Assembly, they send it back to you for approval. So there's a provision for this, and this should not cause any alarm. Because if, for example, we give out a road construction for 22 million, we have seen it happen again and again. One very important road in Nigeria, we call it the East-West Road. We have seen a supplementary budget over 3-4 times. They keep reviewing the prices. They keep increasing the amount of money to be spent on the road. So there's this provision. So you should not be thinking of this provision to pad budget or as an excuse to pad budget. No, when we get to that bridge, the people in power always know what to do.
There are concerns as to how we can even, in the first place, raise a 3 trillion naira, looking at the reality of our economy. What are your concerns on this?
There's a concern generally about how to raise money to back up the budget. But again, let me quickly review to you, if you have forgotten, that now there's poverty in the land, but the Nigerian government has become richer. The Nigerian people have become poorer as a result of, number one, subsidy removal. Subsidy removal means that what the government was paying was transferred to the masses. So it means that government has more money in its purse, but people have more poverty to deal with. So as to money now, money is not the Nigerian problem, and that's why you see all the state government now, they are lounging and smiling to the bank, because in the last few months that subsidy has been taken off, they have seen more money than they've ever seen in the history of Nigeria. So there's much more money now for the Nigerian government. The issue of poverty is only resident with the people.
Just to quickly chip in there, Mr. Ojon, the presidency has said that removal of the fuel subsidy, is a need to help not to further deplete the economy of Nigeria.
The people will only see and agree to that fact when they begin to benefit from the removal. As we speak now, and I want to believe the president that, when a change occurs, the effect of change usually is always negative. I want to believe that within the next few months, that this pain will actually subside. I want to believe. But until then, I cannot leave the studio now and go on the street of Lagos and tell anybody as we speak now that, they should be patient. Why? Because you ask your people to be patient. You ask your people to tighten their belt. But the people in authority are still living in wealth and opulence. So these are some of this. There are little disconnect here and there with what the president is saying and the reality of what the people are feeling in the marketplace. So I want to believe that it's working. And I really want to believe that in the next few months that there will be a great change. I believe removal of subsidy is necessary. I may not agree with the manner that the president actually removed it. But it's something that we must continue to talk about, because we cannot continue to pass our national prosperity into the pocket of a few people. But when you say that when you remove budget, that the people will know more prosperity, if poverty still persists on the street, the people may not appreciate anything that you have done for them.
Well, thank you so much for your expertise on the news, Dotun Ojon, a public affairs analyst. Thank you once again.
It's a pleasure to speak with you.